The tension in Magodo Phase 2 estate over the execution of a Supreme Court ruling on the dispute over the estate land continued on Tuesday as agents of the Shangisha Landlords Association, backed by armed policemen, again stormed the estate, marking properties and locking up some. An affected landlord, Olawale Bitoye, said the agents of the landlords are locking up his property for the second time after he was accused of contravening a court order for reopening his gates after they were locked up on the first day of the invasion on December 21. Some other property owners in the estate are now agitated and are appealing to the authorities to call the police and the Shangisha landlords to order to avoid unnecessary confrontation. Residents of the estate gathered earlier in the day to protest the continued presence of the police team said to have been deployed by the Inspector General of Police for the enforcement of the court order.
I can tell you authoritatively that 2 weeks ago, the DC Ops of Lagos State Police Command was in this estate, spoke to this same crowd that the police will be withdrawn. Sadly enough, he was in this estate till after 6 p.m. that day, and all we heard was that they don't have signal. Signal from where? Not so, which the police here, which means they are not under the control of Lagos State Police Command. They are not under the control of the AIG Zone 2. So they are under the control of the IG. And the IG, I hear, is helpless because he has to take command and he has to take instruction from somebody else. So we know that there are flashpoints, violent flashpoints in Nigeria. Sambisa Forest, Zamfara State, part of the road leading to Akure, and the highways where people are being kidnapped every day. We expect the IG, Attorney General Mr. Malami, and the IG, and whoever is concerned, to deploy these more than 50 armed policemen to those places, not to a peaceful place like this. What is the interest of the Attorney General and the IG in a case between Adeyiga and Lagos State government? We are not really party to it.
Let's cross live now to Magodo. Our senior correspondent, Tokumbo Oyetunji, joins us now. What's the update from Magodo, Tokumbo?
Thank you very much, Tokumbo, for joining us here in Magodo Phase 2 estates. Well, if you just look behind me, these are some of the residents of the estates that have been out this morning. This is just a small number of the larger one that came out earlier in the day. As early as 6:30 a.m., the residents had mobilized themselves to gather for what they called a protest of the continued presence of the personnel of the IGP, that's the IGP team of the Nigeria Police Force that has been present in this estate since 2 weeks ago. That's exactly October 21st, when the armed policemen came with some agents of the Shangisha Landlords Association to mark some properties in enforcement of a ruling of the Supreme Court got in 2012. So the residents came out this morning to actually protest what they called the continued presence and invasion of their property. The entire place was in a lockdown for not less than 3 hours, as the gates were thrown open for people who had businesses to do inside and outside the estate to be able to move out at about 10:30, and majority of the residents actually moved away. But unknown to them, the agents of the landlord association, backed by the police team, were already in the estate again, and they started marking some of the properties here on this street. I'm on one street known as Jibril Liadi, here inside Magodo Phase 2. Some of those property just by my left here, had been marked earlier. And if I can just move a bit, into these properties, number 35, Kodri Adebi Street here in Magodo. What you see here is a padlock put in here by the agents of those landlord association who are seeking to, backed by the policemen who are seeking to enforce the Supreme Court ruling. And here, as you can hear from the background, some of the residents are actually agitated, and they are calling on the authorities to do something urgently so that there won't be any confrontation, because we actually had some of them saying they could confront these people because they are legitimate owners of their property, and they won't want anything that will result into some kind of confrontation between them and the agents of those landlord associations. So they want the authorities to actually do something very urgently. The chairman of the resident association is right here by my side, Mr. Bajo Shinobi. He's been on the phone all day, so maybe we'll just give him a few more minutes to actually explain to us the update on what exactly is going on here. But like I told you, Tokumbo, that is the situation, and the policemen and the agents of the landlords association moved down the road, and they are moving deeper into the estate, marking more properties. We don't know how many more they are going to put under lock and key. Okay, Mr. Oshinobi is right here with me. He's the chairman of the Magodo Residents Association. Mr. Oshinobi, thank you for joining us on Arise News for this live telecast of what is going on. Give us, we just listened to you earlier in the day telling us that why you came out, why you mobilized fellow residents of this association was to protest the continued presence of policemen in the estate. That was before the marking and locking of the property started. Give us the exact situation of what is going on now, Mr. Oshinobi.
We were going through an interview session when I got a phone call that the police have started taking physical possession of some properties. We came there, we saw them friendly. They just told us that they are working on instructions, that even they are tired. But we are waiting. They said the governor is coming, and we are waiting for him to show him that these people are taking physical possession of our properties, and it's not going to happen. Before things get out of hand, we are appealing to the powers behind the police. Mr. Malami, I'm calling out to you. If anybody dies in Magodo, the blood is on your head. Mr. IG, I'm calling out to you. If anybody dies in Magodo, the blood is on your head.
Mr. Chairman, we don't think it should get to the level where
it can, because if the owners of the properties decide to confront the police that the IG sends to Magodo, what will be the result? Anything can happen.
But your team has been doing a lot to actually ensure some kind of engagement takes place so that this issue can be resolved amicably, like the Supreme Court itself has said in its ruling.
The truth of the matter is, we have been trying our best, but there's nothing we can do. If people are taking possession of people's houses, people are bound to fight back, and we wouldn't know where it will end. I don't want loss of life. Whoever is responsible for the presence of police in Magodo, if anybody should die, God will ask you for their blood. That's me.
Tell us, the residents have always insisted that the matter between the landlords association is not between the Shangisha Landlords Association and the residents of Magodo. That is between them and the Lagos State government. What has been the intervention of the Lagos State government so far? What assurance are you getting from the Lagos State government that this will be sorted out?
Well, the governor is supposed to be here very soon. I spoke with him yesterday. He said he's on top of the matter. The Lagos State government will issue a statement later. He said they are on top of. He said the Lagos State government is on top of the situation, but the situation is getting out of hand, and the governor has to come in quickly.
Okay.
He has to do something, and it has to be done now.
Thank you, Mr. Oshinobi, the chairman of the Magodo Resident Association, for talking to us on the update here. You heard him, and according to the information coming from him, the governor of the state, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who will learn is actually presiding over the state ESCO meeting, is going to be on his way down to this place any moment from now. We'll be waiting and watching to see what happens next and how soon this situation can be brought under control.
What a tragic situation. We will definitely be watching as it unfolds. Thank you so much for that, Tokumbo Yetunji.